Hi, Paul. I called your bluff and I asked the definition of harassment, and it has to be on more than one occasion. Let's walk and talk. Yeah. But by the way, bro, what's your name?
Cameron.
What's this discussion about? Because I'm trying to track down Paul Williams, because Paul Williams famously is a Islamic scholar, or proclaimedly is. Yeah. And I've been trying to invite him to a timed discussion, peacefully and civilly, on why he believes that Muhammad is the last messenger. Now, he said on podcasts very famously that, for example, even Christian scholars concede to this premise. So I'm trying to really find out why, supposedly in private, Christian scholars in prestigious institutions like Cambridge would say that they believe he's a prophet, but he couldn't publicly say to a 16-year-old that the reasons for why he believes he's a prophet. And then today, he went up to me and said, let's talk to the police about harassment. And I asked him what's the definition according to the sentencing guidelines, what it means to be a harasser. So it has to be on more than one occasion, which means he can't prove within this one occasion at the park I'm committing harassment. So I'm just going to keep on inviting myself to discuss with him, because he's a Muslim academic, and let's see what happens.
I'm not talking
why are you harassing him?
I'm not harassing.
You are harassing him.
No, I'm not.
He tells me you are, and that means that you are.
Okay, so that means if someone accuses you of a crime, that means automatically you're guilty of it.
In terms of harassment, if he accuses you of harassment, you are harassing him.
Okay,
if
so
he feels harassed,
what happens? No, that's not true. I spoke to a police officer just a moment ago. Harassment is simply the persistence of yourself on someone of more than one occasion.
Being persistent. He doesn't want to talk to you.
No,
why do you insist upon talking?
I insist on that fact because he's a Muslim scholar who talks about Islam in universities, and I'm trying to ask him a question.
I've known him a long time, and in fact, I spar with him on Twitter and face to face, and I have for years.
Why will he not speak to me then?
Because he thinks you are going to harass him about.
How are you supposed to evaluate someone if you don't have a discussion with them?
It's not compulsory for somebody to talk to you, is it?
Of course not. But I think it's a sign of a bad debater. So I consistently get flack for going up to Muslim debaters, and it's considered harassment. But if you arbitrarily decide to not discuss someone based on some personal merits that you don't like someone, that clearly distinguishes you as a bad debater. Because you don't debate on the substance, you rather debate on the person.
Debater, you can't insist that he has to talk to you. And that's what you're
I insist that someone who publicly invites people that are Christian to discuss on Christianity.
That's a non sequitur. Complete non sequitur.
Yeah, it is.
You don't have to talk to anyone. I don't have to.
Premise one, he openly invites any Christian to speak on Christianity.
He has to talk to any Christian.
Premise two, I'm a Christian. Premise three.
In my eyes, because I'm an atheist, and I think
okay, but he said, I was literally last week when you were speaking to a Christian pastor, verbatimly he said, I will speak to any Christian at the park.
Well, then he's lying, isn't he?
Oh, so he's a liar.
About that, he's a liar. If he says he will speak to any Christian but won't speak to you, then he's spoken.
It is a liar.
About that particular
a particular quality which is venerated within Islam.
This is just cheap point scoring, or an attempt to cheap point score. I'm not.
I think I'm winning.
You're not a winning.
I think I am. You just said that a debater, a Muslim scholar.
Shut up for a moment. Yeah. I listen to you. You listen to me. If you run after somebody and insist that he has to talk to you, you're being a buffoon.
No, I'm speaking to you.
I'm walking away. Don't follow me.
I won't follow you.
Good.
Because you don't persist in debating atheism to every Christian. But if you're a Muslim...
I spend hours debating atheism. I'll talk to you about atheism. You
okay.
Talk about atheism.
Okay, and that's good.
Okay,
and that's good.
Right.
But if a Muslim does the same thing, but in fact runs away from an actual discussion, that demonstrates inconsistency and a hypocrisy.
Inconsistency. He doesn't want to talk to you. He doesn't have to talk to you.
Why is that then?
He's not compelled to talk to you.
Why is that then?
No one's compelled to talk to you.
Of course, but if you say something...
You're not compelled to talk to him, you're not compelled to talk to me.
Do you think
no one has to talk to you.
Do you think people are compelled by their own personal convictions?
No.
So people aren't compelled by their own personal convictions?
About their personal convictions. People have their personal convictions. They're not compelled to defend them to you.
No. What I mean by this is, like, for example, if
you say you're winning, you're hopeless.
If I say, for example, I want to be physically fit, I then have a compulsion to then get fit at the gym, so I do some training. Now, if Paul wants to say, and the reason why I went up to him is because he went to a preacher and he said that I am an ex-evangelical Christian, and that I will speak to any Christian at the park. He does videos that are poorly polemical arguments against the Christian faith. So I'm just going to keep on finding him. And then if he wants to abrogate the statement that he won't speak to every Christian, that's absolutely fine.